Welcome to the 9th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome back to the returning viewers and welcome to those of you who are here for the first time. Our adventure today took us all the way to Coldwater, Ontario. But before we start talking about our adventure, Colleen will talk about what we are wearing.
All right, so we'll talk first of all about what May's wearing. And it might look a little familiar because I was wearing that last episode.
Yes, you were.
I was. And at the end of the episode, we were looking at things back, and I just thought that's going to look better on May. The way that the style of it, I think looks much better on you than it does on me.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome. So that now is officially yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It is the Aeque Cowl by Hilary Smith Callis. It's a lovely pattern. It is sewn up the back, so you don't have to tie it and worry about scarves and trebles, so that's good. I knit it in Berroco Comfort Sock, which is 50% nylon and 50% acrylic. It's got a little bit of garter detail, which I really, really like, and that color looks great on you.
Now, would this be like a sock? You can make a sock out of this also?
Absolutely, you can make a sock out of it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I have some left, so I may be making, whether it's a little tiny sock or whether it's a Turkish bed sock, I'm not sure, but I might be doing that.
It's very soft.
Yes, it is. It's lovely, and it does feel nice around your neck. So that's what May's wearing. As for myself, I am wearing the Genesis wrap, which is a pattern by Lauren Slagle, who is the designer and dyer of lolodidit yarns. And a lot of you will have seen her yarns. She always is posting things on Instagram, and she does an amazing job dyeing. She's out of Las Vegas, so if you ever go to Vegas.
Oh, road trip.
Road trip, exactly. And I think what sometimes she will do is if you know the hotel you're going to stay in, she can deliver it to that hotel.
Wow.
Yeah, which is great.
That's cool.
So the yarn that I made this out of is Sweet Georgia yarn. It's Tough Love Sock, so it's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And this Party of 5 is the Honey Fig colorway. I bought this yarn with money from my mom for Christmas, and I have loved every minute of it. It's a great pattern, so if you're thinking about it, it's fantastic.
I love the colors.
Yeah, it's really, what I like about a Party of 5 is that you get to test colors. So instead of buying a full skein of something, you get to see, okay, what does that look knit up? And so it's great. So the 5 that are in this one are raspberry, lemon curd, mulberry, grape jelly, and ultraviolet. And I'm really partial to this ultraviolet, and I think, oh, maybe I could have a sweater out of ultraviolet at some point in time. I do enjoy purple, as you know.
And that's your jam.
Definitely, it's my jam. So I really, really like this, and I like it. I find that at work, whether or not it's cold from the winter or cold from air conditioning, that this kind of thing is just nice to have on. It's easy to take off, and then you're going to be warm.
And you're right. I much prefer that style on you as opposed to this kind of style. So everybody gets to know their own look.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. And so that's what we're wearing. And now we're going to talk about our finished objects. Now we're going to talk about our finished objects. And the first finished object is a crocheted basket. So I do a little bit of crocheting. This is by Churchmouse Yarns and Tees. There are all different sizes that you can make. And this is what it turned out to look like.
I wasn't sure what a knitted basket would look like, but this is it, and it turned out quite well, actually.
Yeah, I just made, I think this is the medium size. I just made the medium size just to see how it would be. I found a button at Fabricland, and so that's what I did.
Has a lid and everything?
Has a lid, yep.
What would you put in these types of things?
People talk about putting like cotton balls or Q-tips or...
You know what I thought of? I just thought of this, is all the plugs that you put in for your cameras or your phone to recharge your phone, all that kind of stuff would sit nice on a dresser or something.
Yeah, so absolutely. That would be great.
It up.
Exactly, kind of hide it in there as well. You don't have to necessarily make it with a lid because you can just take it and fold down the sides of it and maybe make it a little taller. But that's what I did.
Nice.
So
Very
that
nice.
is my finished object. But inside there are more finished objects.
Surprise!
All right,
Okay.
so I don't know what she's going to pull out first, and that's what we're going to talk about first.
Oh,
all right, so there are 2 of those. So this is also by Churchmouse Yarns and Tees. This is the Turkish bed socks.
Nice.
Yes. So these are just to kind of have to be comfy when you're in somebody else's house. You can take them almost like slippers. The colorway is Surf's Up, and it is Bernat socks. So it is 60% acrylic and 40% nylon. They are, in fact, for you, my dear. So I hope that you like them.
This would be a nice scarf, too.
It would be.
The nice scarf. I could maybe match.
You could maybe match.
Scarf and socks.
Yeah. So my understanding is lots of people make these for presents because they don't have to fit quite the same as a sock. They're meant to have negative ease, which means they do stretch to go on your foot. But there's nothing that is going to constrict, so you don't have to worry about that. So
thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
We'll get good wear out of this.
All right. All right. What's next?
We have, they're so cute.
There you go. So those are the Jeanne Baby and Toddler socks. They're by Heather Turcotte. And I last week showed that I had made this little hat.
That'd be a great matching set for somebody.
It is. And as I mentioned last time, lots of times when you make something, especially when I'm making the scarves for you, there's leftover yarn. And so if I just always make a little hat and a pair of socks,
that's a great idea.
Then they'll just be ready if somebody is having a grandbaby or somebody's having a baby at work.
That's a great idea.
So that's good. I love that pattern. It's North Shore Prints by Cascade. It's 100% acrylic, but as I mentioned to you in our previous episode, it feels like cotton. So it would be nice and light for the summer. If there's a baby and you don't want to have any sun on their head, it would help out with that. So that's that pattern.
So what do we have next?
I don't know what's in there. Oh, there we go.
Pair of socks.
Exactly. So last episode I talked about my sock adventure, and I decided I really liked the sock that had the ribbing on the top. I kind of had done a little bit of a hack of a bunch of patterns. So first of all, I looked at the Q-Train sock and the toe that was there. That's by Mina Philipp. So I looked at that. I looked at the Prairie sock. That's by K.F. Jones. So she's one of the bakery bears. And the heel that uses is the Fish Lips Kiss heel. And once again, this pattern is only $1 and it's worth much more than that. And I love the socks. The yarn is Patton's Croy. It's tourmaline stripes.
Feels like there's wool in this.
There is wool in it. 75% wool and 25% acrylic. It's a little bit more rustic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to have that around my neck.
No.
But I think if you're going to be somewhere where it's cold,
yeah, these would keep you nice
they
and
would
warm.
keep your feet nice and warm. So
great.
that's
They
that.
turned out very nice.
Absolutely.
So good job.
Now I have one more finished object, and this was actually a surprise for me. We have some little cameras that we use and like to take with us, and we were trying to figure out, we had put them in plastic bags.
Yeah, like baggies and that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure that's the best way to go. So I thought I can make a knitting project bag, so I bet you I can make a camera bag. So I hunted down some fabric, unbeknownst to you, and I found this perfect fabric. So last week I
gave it to her. So surprised, and it was such a great gift because all these little, I don't know where you came up with this fabric, but everywhere on here, like Vancouver, Marin Lake, Montreal, Toronto, everywhere on this is where we've been.
I know.
And it's going to be a perfect little bag to put my camera in and all the extension cords or whatever I need, and the battery placement. Exactly. So it's just perfect for that.
Exactly.
And so thank you so much. And it's nice and quilted.
Yes, I put in the fusible fleece, and it makes it padded and protected. And I think I got enough fabric left. I think I would like to make myself a project bag of that, because all of those places do have great memories.
Yeah, so fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good.
Yes.
Now, it's your turn to talk about your finished object, and that is a painting that is above our heads, but it may be too high for you to see. So May's going to put a picture in here, and then she's going to talk about her picture.
Okay, well, I just thought I'd talk about this picture. Again, this is one of the earlier paintings that I did, and I'm still learning how to be a painter that's a loose painter, because I'm still very rigid and I've got to get out of that, but it's a learning curve, and if you're not paint, just get out there and paint. That's what the people are saying to me. Just get out there and do it, and that's the only way I'm going to learn. That's how I learn, and so I'm still learning, and this is one of my earlier parts, so hopefully
and I love it. I really like it. I think it's
in the right room, it would be okay.
Absolutely. And we've talked about doing some painting and painting something gray, and I think that picture would look amazing there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my finished object.
There you go. So that's our finished objects, and next we're going to talk about works in progress. Now we're going to talk about my works in progress. You've seen some of these things before and some of them are brand new. So let's first of all talk about this sock. So if you can hold that one up for me. This is, as I mentioned to you in previous episodes, I have decided that I'm going to make a pair of socks for everybody in the family on their birthday. And so the next person who's having their birthday is you.
Oh.
But I've knitted you a lot of socks. So now the next one after you is Taylor, who is my son Thomas's girlfriend. So last year I made her some that were blue, and I wanted to do something a little different. So this is Premier Yarns Wool Free Sock. This is lovely yarn. It's got a bit of stretch to it. There's no wool in it. It's 93% acrylic and 7% PBT. So there is no chance to wash it in the wrong cycle and have a problem with it. So it's going to wash really well. The pattern itself is Katy Loose Sock Pattern. It's by Dragonpine Designs. And they go with London Yarns. The people there are with London Yarns. And the pattern is brilliant. Everybody I've given this pattern to, it fits their foot nicely. I like the rib that is down the whole top of it and on the top of the foot. It just seems to hug it in.
I have a pair of socks just like this, correct?
You do.
And they're probably my favorite.
Yes, I know you like them. And I have enough yarn to make me some too, so maybe sometime. Yeah. So I've got one done, so I guess technically that's a whole. But I have started the next one. And I'm a person who writes down how many rows that I've done because sometimes your gauge changes. I had that happen one time. I made one sock and then it was another month or two before the second sock. And I don't know what happened, but my gauge changed. Socks were a little bit off. So you have to be careful with that. But I really enjoy making socks, and I enjoy making socks for people. So I love this colorway. It's called Grapes, and I really, really like it. So maybe I'll be making some for me maybe I'll make some for my birthday.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
That would be nice for you.
All right.
For yourself.
So that's that. The next thing I want to talk about is this pattern, but it's not really a pattern, except I'll explain what it is. So it is a bookmark that I'm making. You can see I have little bits of yarn left from making people's socks. This yarn is Bernat Socks. It's called Tutu, which I think is funny.
This would be great for all the readers in your life.
Exactly. And lots of people have to read books, whether it's for school, whether it's just for their own enjoyment. This is 60% acrylic and 40% nylon. And the way that this works is that this is linen stitch. So K.F. Jones, who I mentioned earlier, the Bakery Bears, did a tutorial on how to do linen stitch. And I thought, I could do that. And I'm heading out to my brother's, and I thought, a bookmark for everybody would be great, and it would fit in my suitcase no problem.
Now, did the Bakery Bears suggest a bookmark, or were they making something else?
No, they were making bookmarks. And it was just, yeah, absolutely. Nice. And because there's just all these little bits of sock yarn. Exactly. So on the front of it, if I can just take that, I'm going to hold it up closer. On the front of it, excuse me for a sec, there it is. You can see the linen stitch. And then I'm going to turn it around. And if you look at the back of it, it looks almost like moss stitch. And what I'm finding is that the different colors actually make the pattern show up even more. Oh. There is a pattern that's by Koigu. I actually have the pattern because I bought some Koigu and it came with it. And you can make a linen stitch scarf. It probably would take a long time to do, but the linen stitch itself isn't too tough to do. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube, so go ahead and take that. But if you know somebody who likes to read, then I think it would be great. And I'm thinking of my sister. I'm not sure she watches, so I'm going to say it. I think if I made her a bookmark and sent her, she lives near Ottawa, and sent her a bookmark and a gift card, perhaps to Indigo or to Amazon maybe, then I think that would be a lovely birthday gift.
A great gift. And you know what? What a great idea to do with all those little pieces of wool that's hanging around.
Exactly. I'm trying to use them up.
Yeah.
So that's good. Now, the last work in progress, I am absolutely in love. First of all, with the pattern. Second of all, with the yarn I'm using. I just have been having such a good time doing it. I don't want it to end. And yet I want it to end because I want to be able to wear it. So this pattern, I'm just going to hold up the pattern first, is the Katy Shawl. So Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters. There's 4 sisters from Grand Prairie, Alberta. They've been doing different shawls for different members of the family. So they did my sister's shawl, which was a mystery knit along, which I showed earlier. They've done the Jamie shawl. I've got some yarn for that, so I've got to think about what I'm going to do that. And then they had the Katy shawl, and I thought, I'm going to do this. So when we were in Cambridge, and we went to the Crooked Kitchen Yarn trunk show.
Yes, I remember that.
I found yarn that I fell in love with. I had some navy at home, so I purposely was looking for something that would go with navy for this pattern. So the navy that I had was Malabrigo sock. So that's what it looks like. It's 100% a superwash merino, and it's the Côte d'Azur colorway. It's a beautiful, beautiful blue. So I'm going to hold that up for you. There's the blue. It's a tonal, and so it is just gorgeous. It
is a nice color.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. And the color that I found from Crooked Kitchen Yarns, and this is also 100% merino superwash. It's called Ghosts in the Machine. So there's her tag, which I thought that's very cute. And I really, really like it. So I'm going to ask for your help.
You've been talking a lot about this wool and how much you love it.
I know. So I'm just going to hold this part up. This part, which looks like a gray blue, which is exactly what it is that color of Ghost in the Machine. And that's the Crooked Kitchen Yarns. And I love it. Now the pattern is a paid for pattern. It's got all different kinds of pieces to it, but it's knit in garter stitch, so it goes fairly quickly. And I love that there's an I-cord edging, because I really enjoy an I-cord. And so I'm just at the very end. The pattern itself,
very nice.
They talk about using like a party of 5 and using different colors. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to use 2 colors, and so I'm really happy. I like gray, but lots of times when I put gray on, you look at me and go,
you look gray.
Yeah, you
it
look
just
gray.
takes the color out of people sometimes.
Don't get that. And this color, this yarn that looks gray, has enough blue in it that I think it looks better. Looks great, so I'm really, really happy with it. As I said, I'm hoping by next episode that will be a finished object, because it is lovely. It's squishy. Then I'm using a different knitting needle, which we'll talk about when we talk about souvenirs. And I'm really happy with it as well.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. Yes. So 3 things that I'm working on, and I will let you know when I get them done. But for right now, that's my works in progress.
Today our adventure took us all the way to Coldwater, Ontario, where we visited the Purple Sock, but Colleen can talk a little bit about the Purple Sock later on. Coldwater is a small little community. It's north of London, where we live. Population is 13,477, so it's not a big place, but it was the place of a television series called Paradise Falls. In 2001 and 2008, they did that series there, and they took photos around the Severn Falls and Sparrow Lake.
Oh, very cool.
So, yeah, and while we were there, as you see on the video and some of the pictures that we did on our podcast, you see a boat there in the ferry. What I'm saying about the boat, that was actually in Aeque, and that was the lake. It's called, and I hope I'm doing this justice, Couchiching Lake.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Couchiching is there, and then there's Lake Simcoe is just below that. So that's what the lake you're seeing there, but it was very cold and the boat wasn't going out, as you can see from those videos there. We did like the Purple Sock. We visited there. It's a small community, but lovely place. And we met the owner there. Her name is Lynn, a lovely lady.
I'm just going to hold up the card. There it is, the Purple Sock. Her name is Lynn Stitchman. Okay.
What a great little store. It's an old theater that they have converted into this lovely little unique little nook and cranny there with all these old floors in the creek. It's a very lovely little place, and you can actually see where the theater was and where they showed the movies from before. Lynn is a great person, and she was so welcoming, and her store was just a lovely place, and I highly recommend it from a visitor point of view. She had some tea. I'm a tea drinker. She had lots of tea. And after talking to Lynn, she talked about, originally she wanted to open a little tea room, but that really didn't pan out because you needed all these, there's all these codes and stipulations. Exactly. So I think she's done a great job of combining the tea. It's not a tea room. She sells tea.
Yeah, they're specialty teas.
Specialty
and she
tea.
mixes her own, so that's cool.
Right.
Too. Yeah.
And so people can buy it, and she can give them for free. So if someone comes in and knit, I think she gives them some tea, and they end up buying some of the tea.
Absolutely,
So
that's
it's
great.
a great little thing that she's done there. She also sold, as Colleen was looking around the store and looking at different yarns, and
the thing I like to do the best.
I was looking at the candy, and there was some candy there that she had that was all kind of a natural type candy, which were very good. We had them. We bought some and had some in the car.
I had to hide them away so we could have them as souvenirs.
Yeah, that's true. And also there was a little cookbook I noticed there on the countertop, and she sells these cookbooks. A lot of the knitters that came in there put this together, and the proceeds of the cookbook, some of the money goes to charity, which I thought was a really nice date. So obviously we bought a cookbook also, which was really nice. And I'm going to try some of those recipes, Lynn, so I'll let you know how that worked out. There's really not much else to tell. It is a small community, very small, but
there's
very
lots
nice.
of unique stores there. We had a little look around, not that day, but a day that we'd been there previously. And you know, before we were doing adventures, you had gone across the street. There was a lovely little shop there.
Right. There's an antique store. And
exactly.
Yep.
And there's a clothing store, and I bought a scarf there. So there's lots of cool things there. It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
I'll just talk a little bit about the shop itself, or do you have something else you want to say?
Just one thing before I start, before I forget, is Lynn talked about there's a knitting crawl, I guess they call it.
The yarn crawl. That's what they call it, yeah.
And there's about 10 or 11 stores that get involved, and you get a passport, and there's prizes for these stores. You can call Lynn. You can actually call the store and ask for your free passport, or I believe you can get it online.
Right.
And these stores are probably within an hour or two around the area.
Absolutely.
And you get this passport filled out, and you get great prizes. And I believe Lynn is known for having some great door prizes. So make sure you go to that. And I believe it runs from June. The passport you have, and you've got all June, July, August, all up until Labor Day.
I think that's exactly right.
So we're going to maybe probably venture out to do that this summer, so we'll let you know how that goes.
Exactly. We want to go for a walk. We may even want to do that boat ride once the boat's moving. It would be fun.
Yeah, it would be a great place to go back in the summer, for sure.
I think so.
Right.
So the yarn store itself, I'll just talk about that from a knitter's perspective. Lynn has, first of all kinds of different knitting needles. And so we'll talk a little bit about that in souvenirs. She has all different kinds of yarns. She really likes to bring in local yarns from local dyers, and so it was really neat to see different ones. Lots of times yarn stores are organized by different weights, and she doesn't do that. And it actually was fun to look around because you were more drawn to what you see that you like. And then you would go, okay, what's the weight? Do I know something that I want to do with that? So I really, really liked the way that the store was set up. There was so much to see. I could have spent lots of money. I didn't, but I could have. I was really thrilled to take that look around there. She does not have like an online store. She said it was difficult with one person to do that, but she did say that she would easily you could call her and then she would work something out with you if you wanted her to send you some things, if you wanted to buy it that way. But she's not going to have an online store. She does list the yarns that she has, and she has all different kinds. She's got Malabrigo, and she's got Manastel Uruguay, and she has Sweet Georgia, and she has Opal, and there's just so many. I can't even remember them all.
She's a great businesswoman also,
She really is.
And she has a sock of the month type thing.
Oh,
also.
That's right. So she and 5 different dyers got together, and they decided they would do a sock of the month club. What you get with this club membership is you get yarn to make a pair of socks. You get a project bag that goes with the yarn. And you also get a sock pattern. So every month that you get it, it's a different sock pattern. And she showed us the current one, and I thought, I just want all of that. I didn't, because you had to order it ahead of time, but it was a great idea, and I love the things that she talks about. She was talking to me about Ravelry and how to set things up. She was talking to me about how to put in our YouTube channel so that it's linked in Instagram. She's
very knowledgeable.
She's very smart.
It is worth the drive. Like
Absolutely.
I mean, it's out there and it's up north.
It's north of Barrie. Yeah, it's out there.
Right, but it is definitely worth the drive.
Yeah, and she is such a sweetheart and would help you in amazing ways. So even if you weren't sure what you wanted to do, but you had an idea, maybe I want to make a pair of socks or a shawl, she could definitely help you out and get you started on the right
path. She could, yeah.
So I absolutely enjoyed that adventure. And did you enjoy the adventure too?
It was a fantastic adventure. We had so much fun.
We had a great time. Yeah. So that's our adventure. So next we're going to talk about our souvenirs. Now we're going to talk about our souvenirs. First of all, I just want to remind you, there's the purple sock card. And you'll see the sign with the purple sock right outside the store. So what did we find?
Well, first of all, when you were looking for wool, I found the recipe book that I had talked about. Mm-hmm. And this was all the people that come there and knit. They decided to put a recipe together. And I was thumbing through it, and there's some great recipes, and I am going to try them. But I also saw a little saying in this book that says, the person who rows the boat doesn't have time to rock it. I thought that's perfect. So
that's exactly right.
So anyway, that was nice, and all these proceeds, most of the proceeds go to charities, which is really nice. Yeah. And also, while you were looking for wool, I picked up these nice little candies that we had in the car.
Yes, we did. The package is open.
and I thought, they might be a little healthy, no artificial coloring, no additives, but then I saw the first ingredient, which was sugar. But anyway, they were still very, very good.
They taste so good.
Yeah, and that was nice for Lynn to put those all together in a little package. So very
exactly. Good. And Lynn was saying there are people that come in and buy five and six bags at a time.
Yep, because they are
That's really good.
So that was my souvenirs from Lynn's store at the Purple Sock.
And so while May was busy talking to Lynn about those things, I was looking for wool. And I found this opal. So I'll hold that up to you. And it is different opal yarn. So it's not 100% wool. It's 38% wool, 32% polyamide, something like that, and 30% cotton. And I was thinking that when we go to Scotland, that this might be good yarn to make some socks. So I think I'm going to make myself some socks in this. I might make shorty socks, I'm not sure, but the color I like. It's got purple, it's got blue, it's got all kinds of things. So I was really thrilled with that.
This will go with purple, look.
It will go nicely with purple. And as you know, I like purple. So that's a good thing. So that's that. So that's the first thing I found.
Nice.
And then I found this. And this is by Yarn Indulgences. And the word is exactly what it is. It's called Zed Luxe Sock. It's 70% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon. It's fingering weight yarn. I'm just going to take the ball band off and we're going to open this up because the colors that are in here are unbelievable.
It's very different from what you would normally buy.
I know,
these colors,
because it's got a gold in it, it's got a blue in it, but there's a gray, and every once in a while there's a little bit of black. Like I picked that ball of yarn up and I looked all over the store with that in my hand because I knew I wanted to get it. It is so soft, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet.
It'll look nice knitted up, I think.
Yeah, if you hold that up there close so you can see all the colors. Nice. That is brilliant. So I am absolutely thrilled with that.
Nice.
So those are the two yarn purchases that I had.
I know you could have bought a lot more in there.
I could have. I've been known to do that.
But you were very good.
Well, I was.
We're going back though.
We will be going back, so that helped. I said to May, can we come back? She said, yeah, we can come back. The last thing I want to talk about are some knitting needles. And I was speaking to Lynn. I've been doing this to every yarn store that we go to, the owners. And I've said, okay, I'm going on a plane to Calgary. You and I are going on a plane to Scotland and Ireland. And I want to take knitting, but I don't want my knitting needles being taken away. What do I do? Should I buy wood? Do I do bamboo? Do I do metal? I know that when you go online, it says that you can take whatever you want. But I'm not sure that's going to happen. And my understanding is that the security guard is the person who decides what's what. So you want to take the best possible thing. So when I was there, I was looking at, and I'm going to say it in many different ways. So some people say this as Aeque. I was online and I think it's Aeque. I'm going to say it one more time. Aeque. That's what I think it is. All right.
Is it French?
No, it is
Dutch.
Norwegian, I think. Oh. Norwegian, I think. Anyway, that being said, these are the driftwood ones. So I asked, yeah, absolutely. So I've got 4mm needle tips, because the nice thing about this knitting needle tip, they go on to Knitter's Pride cords. So they'll go on all kinds of things. So I thought, well, I've got the cords already. That would be great. So I said, Lynn, that's great. I'll take them. I'll try them. And she said, listen, do a review of them, and then I will just give these to you. So she graciously gifted them to me. So every time I pick up my knitting with these, first of all, I am just so thankful that Lynn was so kind. And it just warms my heart that somebody would do that. So I'm going to hold up this knitting needle. I'll hold my hand behind if that helps, so you can see it. It is the driftwood ones, and I have to tell you, I love these. They're soft. That's not what I mean. They're not, they don't grab your yarn. They're slick enough, but they're not slippery. The tips are really nice. They're light. They're really easy to work with. And I've been working with them all on my Katy shawl, and my thumb has not been hurting at all. So I think partly because of the weight of them, partly because they are slick enough that they'll be helpful, I absolutely love these. So if you're going into a yarn store, they have different kinds of sets that you can buy. I would encourage you to get a tip and just try a project on it. As I said, like, I'm thrilled with these, and I'm looking to start another project on these needles. So thank you very much, Lynn. I really appreciate your kindness and generosity. Like, I'm so thankful of that. You gave me a chance to try them. I'm definitely going to take these with me when I'm heading off on the airplane, because I think they're wood and they don't look quite as dangerous as some metal needles would be. So I'm very, very thankful for that. And that's our souvenirs. So we had a great adventure.
We did.
It was a little cool.
Yeah, but it still was fun.
The drive
fun. Was nice.
The drive was nice. The roads were good, and we are definitely going to go back.
Go back in the summer for sure.
Exactly.
Okay.
So thanks so much, May, for the great adventure.
And thank you. And until next time.
You take care.